Hey guys, how y'all doing? This is D. Durrell with D. Durrell Life Solutions today. Hope everybody's having a wonderful day today and they are doing the things that they enjoy doing, living life, loving life, and just, enjoying the space. So today, particularly in this particular evening, I will be discussing the final installment of the relationship between subscribers and content creators. I would like to say before I continue that I enjoy the comments in the comment section and the new subscribers who have given a great deal of very interesting rhetoric and criticism or their opinion in a positive manner about this particular topic. I also would like to say that I appreciate all the support on some of the newer mental health videos that I have posted and uploaded on my platform. As you all know, I had made a decision at this point to concentrate on the life solutions and discontinue content creation on D. Durrell, The Rebirth Live. If you look on the channel, you will notice that there are no more videos, and at this point, I don't see a reason to continue that type of content, and I will try my best to commit myself to D. Durrell Life Solutions and talk about topics that relate to my profession and to present myself in a professional manner and to conduct myself relative to my education, success, and just who I am as a human being pretty much overall. So for those who were subscribe to D. Durrell, The Rebirth Live. You can come over here to D. Durrell Life Solutions, and this is where it's at now. I'm enjoying the fact that I am doing this type of content, and I will continue to do content that resonates with me both online and in real life in my professions. But this is part 5. This is the last video that relates to the relationship between a content creator and a subscriber. Now, as we go through this this process, I want to highlight the previous stages that focus on the beginning stage, the beginning stages of building rapport. I talked about the development of a parasocial relationship. I talked about the aspects of that relationship. And now we're going to talk about the viability, the overall viability of a relationship. I like to coin this particular phase, which is the final stage, as the sink or swim effect. Because in the final stages, or particularly after you establish that relationship, both the subscriber or the content creator no longer see themselves as merely content creator or subscriber or viewer. At this point, the two people who were once involved in a one-sided affair in which in most cases, intents and purposes, the viewer or the subscriber merely looked at this person a certain way based on how they connected to them merely on content creation. So in the final stages, we're looking at the fact that between both parties that have graduated from merely being an online situation, whether or not they're friends or lovers or in a relationship or not, but it is a close relationship. There are people who have been have online friendships for years and years, maybe even a decade. There are those who have met. Matter of fact, I was just involved in looking at a video of two content creators, or both have had a presence online, and they're in the city of Houston, and one of them decided to move to Houston, and they went out and had drinks and had a great time. They didn't start out that way. They started off as merely people who met each other in a chat. One did content, the other one didn't. The one would participate with them. They began to gain relationship with each other, going out doing things together, hanging out, phone conversation, going on vacations for years and years, best of friends obviously, and now they're living in the same city together and they're continuing their friendship. So that is how a parasocial relationship or relationship on YouTube can evolve into a more meaningful, blossom into a more productive and beneficial relationship for the both of them, whether you're a content creator, viewer, subscriber, a listener, whatever term that you would like to coin. But in the final stage, in the stage of a viable relationship or having a viable long-term relationship, the sink and swim effect, whether or not it goes left or it continues in the right path, there is a level of comfortability, as a uniqueness to the relationship that graduates from the fact that it started off as it began in its genesis as a parasocial relationship and now becomes more and more like a traditional relationship. It has the feel of a traditional friendship. Whatever type of term you want to coin it, whether or not you're in a relationship, for as romantic relationship or not, you no longer see that person as a content creator. That person no longer sees you as a subscriber or viewer. They see you for the person you truly are. The previous stages in which so much interaction, good or bad, or negative or positive, that people see you in a true light as far as the way they see you and the way they perceive you and how they value the relationship. Also, when we assess the viability of this relationship and as these relationships develop and graduate to a more meaningful relationship, one can only pose, particularly if these relationships have going on and has manifested itself year after year after year, many content creators may develop a need to not do content, may develop a need to take breaks, may develop a need to no longer value creating YouTube videos, uploads, or other social media platforms. In this situation, from my vantage point, because the viewer or the subscriber who once connected with this person mainly from a one-sided perspective, because they no longer purely see the content creator as a content creator, they see him as the person. They see him as someone that they can hug, someone that they can talk to, someone they can confide in, someone who shows their feelings, someone, if it's on a personal note, someone that they have had sex with, someone that they have eaten out with and maybe visited family, saw their kids, swapped pictures, may have engaged in all types of family activities and people know them, that you're close and dear to, and vice versa. You no longer see this person as that avatar person with a screen name or that content creator or influencer who has a social media presence. You see that person merely as the person who they really are outside of the content creation. There are many situations that I can think about in which a person discontinued a certain type of content, or they discontinued creating YouTube videos or having other social media presences where they just merely see them for the person who they are and nothing else, and it's good on both ends. That to me is a sign of a true, genuine relationship. At the stage of viability, it can go positive and it can go negative. And so I'm going to go into the negative because we're kind of talking about the positive. We're talking about how things continue to be consistent and it's continuity long term. And it's all based on the fact that they no longer see themselves as merely content or see themselves merely as an image or someone who projects themselves a certain way or who puts on a show or entertain. They understand a person has a heart, they have a mind, they understand how that person feels about things, the ongoing conversations, the connectability of that. You see that person as a person. And so therefore, when you see a person as a person, it all makes sense who they are as a whole. And many times the content creation becomes secondary. The content creation is no longer as valuable as it once was when you first began to get to know this person. And this is quite obvious. There are tons of situations in which people no longer do content, who are no longer in the YouTube game, I may say, and they're still friends and they still hang out, or they still seeing someone personally, regardless of whether they do content or not. This is very important because it shows the fact that when two human beings develop the ability to connect, to trust one another, to comfort one another, to emotionally be there, to emotionally invest in oneself, and to understand a person, not just on the environment that they saw online, but also the environment that they engage in real life, meaning family, friends, work associates, in their everyday life, professional life, in the city that they live. You see that person for who they truly are. So in having a valuable relationship, as the relationship becomes more valuable, the content creation becomes devalued in most situations, but not all. Because what happens as you're simultaneously developing closer and closer relationship and closer attachment and connectiveness towards that person, the content creation doesn't necessarily present itself as being the most powerful dynamic of the relationship, because your ability to connect and to mesh with this person supersedes content creation. And I've seen this happen countless times. I've seen people who have been involved with people low key in many senses, and you find out years later. I've seen situations where people had all types of relationships no one knew about, and they kept it quiet. But the fact of the matter is that the way one feels about each other is not the way it was in the beginning. It's totally different in the end. Okay? Now, the negative side of this. As we look at the negative side of this, which we have countless examples of the negative side, things can go really bad. As a content creator can grow, earn money, attract new subscribers, new people who may be equally as interested in connecting with that person, creating possible enviousness and jealousy and all types of deceptive and negative behaviors. One can only think about how the arguing and offline can also become arguing online. It could be arguing in the chat. It could be arguing in other platforms. And eventually people part ways once they reach that last stage, because of not being in agreement or in concert with certain things that someone does, and this happens over time, or you feel that you're being jaded for a variety of reasons, is usually the subscriber or the viewer who does this to the content creator. There are very few instances that I can think of, and maybe others that are listening can maybe vouch and say or talk more in detail about. There's very few situations in which a content creator became so connected or became so infatuated with a subscriber that they lost sight of doing content in their channel. There are many situations where I saw the direct opposite, in which someone who was deemed as a viewer subscriber who held a certain position, mod stick or whatever within that channel, they lose it when things don't go the way. They don't like how that person is engaging with others. They don't like the fact that this person is supporting certain people, doing certain things, and eventually maybe financially supporting or meeting certain people. These are all dynamics that can go left, particularly in real life, as someone has to explain to this person why they're doing what they're doing. It can become a bit troublesome, and then many times when the jealousy kicks in, the enviousness kicks in, the overall, I would say the overall confusion about what's going on that leads to the parting of ways. That's the reality of the last stage, because things can very well go for the better and best, and there are people in these spaces who have gotten married, or they hold on to long-term relationships, or directly goes in where a person begins to expose, who begins to gossip, go from panel to panel, saying things and doing things that are detriment to the person that they once praised or once had all kinds of great things to say or talk about. So this is, and for all intents and purposes, this is a possibility. No matter how well you think you know someone, no matter how well that person talks or speaks, has certain, I would say gifts that they, can do things that no other person does that can bring awe and amazement to you. This person really, in many situations, have you truly got to know this person for who they really are. And for me, in situations like that, I like to let people be who they are and not judge them. At the same time, I make a decision not to engage. And to me, engagement is the biggest part of this, because if you don't engage, you won't have to deal with some of the things you're dealing with. But the minute you engage, the minute you go in chat rooms, you go into the chat and things of that sort, you expose yourself to so many things that you may not be pleased to hear about. As a content creator and as a subscriber who has a relationship and it goes for the worst, you can be exposed. Emails can be exposed, text messages, letters, pictures of you all together in person. There's so many ways that people misuse YouTube, misuse the internet to make points or to hurt other people professionally or socially or what have you. And if these things are found not to be true, nothing really happens to the person who lied, for the most part. May get a slap on the hand here or there, whatever, but nothing to that detriment occurs that would totally influence them to do a 360. That doesn't happen. That's just the reality of it. Not that it has to happen, it's not happening. So, in getting back to the topic, and we're talking about subscriber and the content creator. Shout out to everybody again who's listening to D-Durrell Life Solutions. Thank you all for being here. But you can only give as much as you can or want to. No one can make anybody give. No one can make anybody do anything. A content creator can't make a subscriber do what they want, even though there are situations where that have happened, and subscriber to content creator. And there are definitely situations like that. But if the relationship goes left, it's usually the content creator who bears the burden of this. There are potential where a person may send people to do things and mess up your business, mess up everything, and it can ruin your what I would say reputation. Can ruin how you perform, the way you act. You can't do that anymore. So we have to be careful of the negative side of that, because the relationship can be valuable and it can be non-viable. But you have to know the value of oneself, not measured by other people. No one knows you better than yourself. But with that being said, when we talk about the viability, when we talk about the closeness and connectedness that one can have, nothing is perfect. In this stage, things can continue to be said and done that can spark ongoing negative situations. And that's just the reality of it. You have to make a decision. Do I leave this alone and find something else better to do until a person leaves, or you leave and stay on and perform and do whatever else that's deemed entertaining? Listen, I am a content creator, but I'm also a professional first. And I believe that if it gets to the point where you have to yell and curse and do different things, maybe that space is not for you. You have to really think about that. So in the last stage, as we reviewed all those different stages, the final thing is acceptance of why you are in this position, and how you have persevered and moved on. And that's the dilemma that one has. And so for me, in looking at and evaluating parasocial relationships, and the end result can either be very, very good or very, very bad. And again, I'm going from a relationship standpoint, and I'm also verbalizing different scenarios from a psychological mental health standpoint. Those things do intertwine. In many situations, we're looking at the viability of that relationship. You have to value who are you in this person's life, and why do they need you, if they need you at all, or why are you there. And I think that for the most part, you know, these things can be answered properly, and these things can be answered spiritually properly. So, a content creator has the right to not want a relationship. A subscriber has the right to not accept the content creator in whatever type of relationship. But the communication has to be open. The communication has to be consistent in making those decisions, making the right decisions. And so many people, you know, do things and create relationships and they don't last. And particularly on YouTube, when these things happen, there's a high percentage chance that somebody's going to leak information. This is the dark side of this game. This is the dark side of what can happen. You know, nobody's private life should be made into a theatrical circus or whatever to entertain people. It's not entertaining to know personal information about anybody, especially without their permission. But that's the reality of what we're in, and we have to make do with what we have. But that's kind of how things go. It may be seen as fair and unfair, but that's pretty much what works from where I'm at. So I enjoyed this series. I enjoyed talking about the subscribers and content creator, all different dynamics and evaluations that came out of it. I don't wish to do any, you know, hopefully the best thing is that it doesn't stay in that situation. It graduates to other. So I could say from my position, I've helped several people make those transitions into doing things that they felt were more appropriate for them and not for society. That's the hardest thing. So I do appreciate you all for being here. I do appreciate you all for engaging in this conversation. It's very interesting. Again, that was the final stage, and we talk about the good, we can talk about the bad. Either you can have a blessing of a blessed relationship in which people will accept you, they interact with you, you know, they see value in you within the relationship, and they want you a part of it. Then I've seen the part where people are, you know, not as well, had issues, and you have to deal with things, good, bad, or ugly. That's just part of the life. But I appreciate you all for being here once again for, you know, several times. I appreciate you all for being here. I hope you come here for many more other videos that I will put out. Again, please leave comments in the comment section. This is D. Durrell with D. Durrell Life Solutions. Have a great day.